Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about while loops in Python. So hopefully you've worked with while loops before, but maybe you haven't done so in Python. So I'm going to show a couple quick examples that are pretty easy. So for the first example, you need to set the variable beforehand that we are going to use in the while statement. So let's say I is equal to 0, and our format is just going to be while and then whatever statement you want to be true in order for this loop to keep running. So let's say we want our loop to run while this I is less than, let's say, 7. And let's say the code that we want to run is we want to print the value, um, and we also would like to add 1 each time, so that it'll print numbers 0 through 6. You could also say plus 2, plus 3, but let's just stick with 1. You could also do I equals I, I plus 1, and that's going to mean the same thing, but it's just quicker to write plus equals sign and then 1. So let's go ahead and run that. Oh, and we got to have our colon just like we did in the for loops. So you can see that in the shell it printed numbers 0 through 6, and once the value is equal to 7, our loop is going to end because this statement is no longer true. We're going to do another similar example. So let's say I is equal to 0 again, and our statement that we want to be true is I is less than 8. And then colon. Let's say we want to print it again, but let's say we want our loop to stop if our value of I is equal to, let's say, 4. We do need a colon on this conditional statement as well, and let's put a break so that our loop is going to stop if that conditional statement is true. And if it's not, then we are just going to keep going with adding in increments of 1. Let's go ahead and run that. So you can see that it did print 4, but that was because our print statement was before it tested this statement. So basically our code printed 4 when I was equal to 4, and then it tested for this and it saw a break and our loop ended. So pretty self-explanatory, but just a good example. Let's do an example using the length function. So let's say we have dog breeds, because everyone loves dogs. So let's say we have beagle, pug, lab, and poodle. Let's also set our value I equals 0. So let's say while this I that we just initialized is less than the length of our list that we just created called dog breeds. And while that statement is true, let's say we want to print out that name from our list. So we'll say print dog underscore breeds, bracket I. If you forgot how to index like a list or an array, go check out my indexing videos. And then let's just say, as in the examples before, we want to add 1 each time. So when this I gets to be greater than the length, then we're no longer going to print, because that wouldn't be possible anyways, because there are no more elements after the length of that. Forgot that colon. Always forget that. There we go. So that's a good loop to use if you want to, or a good code to use if you want to print out a list like that. Um, Something that's interesting is you can use while loops with else statements. So you could say, let's say we have a count variable equal to 0, and while that variable is less than 5, we just want to go ahead and print, let's say we want to print the count, and then we want to say is less than 5. And if that is not true, we're going to say else, colon, also need a colon right here, or else we are going to print, still print the count, but we want to say is not, our value is not less than 5. And then you also want to say each time we're going to add 1 to that count. Let's go ahead and run that. So you can see that while this statement was true, it printed the count is less than 5, and when that wasn't true, the loop ended and it went to this statement and it said 5 is not less than 5. I have one more quick example here with user input. I just think this is a good thing to know how to do. So let's say you want to put, or you want to create a list of classes you want to take. So let's say classes equal empty brackets because it's just an empty list, but we do need to name that variable beforehand. And let's say the string is called new class. And let's say our loop is, or our statement is while new underscore class. So in Python, the is not statement is exclamation point equals. So in other words, you're saying while new class is not equal to stop, our loop is going to run. So that's why we didn't set this equal to stop, because our loop wouldn't even run then. So we just kept it as 2 empty quotes. So let's say our code that we want to run is new underscore class equals input. So this is where we're going to have our user input saying what class that you want to add to the list. So let's say we want to tell our user, please input a class you will take, or type stop. So if it sees that the user sets this variable to stop, then the loop is going to end. Alright. And we also need to finish quotations. And so then we also want to add whatever that user input is to our list. So we say classes is the name of our list, append, and let's say new underscore class. So it's just going to add whatever this input is to the list. And then the loop is going to keep going until the user types stop. And then after the user types stop, we want to print classes. So we just want to print our list. So let's say math, English, and then stop. So our list printed, but here's one issue here. Our list has stop, and we don't want that. So the way to fix this is we want to say, we want to put a conditional statement into this code. So let's say if new underscore class is not equal to stop, then we are going to print, or we are going to append whatever our user typed in. But if it does equal stop, then it's not going to be added to the list. So let's see what happens. Oh, put an extra space there. Guess we have to indent this as well. So let's just do the same classes again. So now that fixed that problem, and it no longer has stop as part of the list. I hope this video helped you guys, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!